Okay, I'm back again. Let's see if this will work. عمر يلا يلا join the live إن شاء الله and we can do it. Okay. والله احنا من متى نحاول يعني this is crazy بس يلا بنحاول إنزين. والله Rubbery Platform are joining يعني thank you guys. Rubbery guys is actually a platform that عمر is part of بس ما أقدر أضيفك عمر. شو رأيك أنت تضيفني؟ Yeah, I'm unable. Yeah, doesn't work. Don't know why. Amar, finally I can go live with you. 1 minute. Don't leave. Now you have to accept.
Hello. Hi.
We made it, Amar.
Finally ما بغينا.
ما بغينا والله الصدق يعني من متى أنا قلت خلاص I'm gonna give up today. بس I ranted شوي أعطيت speech قبل لا أنت you join the live about how we should change this.
Hello. Sorry.
تسمعني؟
Yeah, I got cut for a second, but I can hear you now.
Okay. إنزين عمر أعرف إن إحنا شوي تأخرنا وشي وهذا وكله يعني it's my fault بس يلا ما عليه.
No. Technical issues for everyone. It happens.
Yeah. إنزين عمر أول شيء I'm very excited to be talking to you. And
Thank you very much.
when I first learned about you and the work you've been doing in the community, I thought, you know, we have to talk and we have to showcase the work you're doing on a different level. And I know that my team were in touch with you since December last year. I probably, yeah.
Yep.
So unfortunately, we couldn't do it together, like physically meet somewhere and do the show. But I'm glad you are finally on the screen with me.
Glad. Pleasure to be here.
So, Amr, يعني a lot of people don't know who you are. They see you on social media, they see you on like projects and everything. So, tell people, who is Amr?
All right. So no one special or nothing special. I'm a real estate professional by background. I grew up obviously في Abu Dhabi, studied in local schools, and then I went to I did my bachelor's on scholarship in the UK in real estate. ومتخصص in real estate. I've been working for 10 years for Aldar, doing retail management. But on the side, I've always been very passionate about sports, mainly football. Been playing just like all the kids growing up in Abu Dhabi, playing in the streets, in parking lots, any grass or parks that we find. So I've always had this passion and drive that I need to do something with my energy and with my passion in football. I always knew it was something I'd do at some point, but I just never knew when. So 3 years after I started working in 2013, I set up my own company. It took me 2-3 years to plan what I want to do. And when I knew what I wanted to do, I started in 2013. And now it's been 7 years of me doing both. So still working in real estate, but then trying to grow what I want to achieve with football as well. So that's who I am, very active person in sports and life in general. But these are my two main things, I'd say, real estate and football.
I like the fact that you mentioned both because a lot of people find it very challenging. And to be honest, it is challenging. I know it's very challenging to do two things. But I feel like if you're passionate about something and you're willing to kind of put extra time, you can actually do both. And there is a huge focus on learning and getting experience from, let's say, a job opportunity before you go into entrepreneurship. So I think that's really, really cool that you're doing something that a lot of people find challenging. You mentioned that your passion is football. Like, when did you start playing football?
Oh, very, very young. Like most kids, 4 or 5 years old. As soon as we can run out in a park, I think that was the first sport and probably the only sport that I really engaged heavily in. I played a bit of tennis and other sports, but it was always football from a very young age throughout school and uni. It was the main sport.
I feel like because of the type of business you've started, which we will talk about later, how did football affected your life? Because I feel like that's a big part of who you are.
100%. So one thing was me playing, and because it takes up so much of your time, your energy, your thoughts, everything is football related. You shape your life around what you like and what you put your energy towards, and that's where I put my energy outside of school. We grew up playing football 5, 6 times a week, so that's, you can say, almost all I knew. Yani a little bit of other entertainment, but that was the main thing. The other thing was watching football as well. As you know, the biggest leagues in the world. I support the biggest club in the world, Manchester United. I'm sure a lot of
Yes,
debates when
good
people hear
choice.
that.
I was about to send you a jersey if you were not a fan.
So Man United definitely playing, but also supporting, watching matches with my dad, and supporting a club that you're very passionate about. Khalas, you grow this image or this thing around you that you want your life to stick to this lifestyle or هذا. And then that يعني what you just said, it shapes your thoughts, who you are, where you want to spend most of your time with, who your friends are. If I look at my closest friends today, 90% of them either played football with me, or they support the same clubs, or they support other clubs, and we fight all the time. But yeah, it brings a lot of people together.
I think it's so important to promote, health and fitness from an early on. And I believe that you've started a business, which I'll let you to explain, the academy, the football academy you started. You started this business to give an opportunity to every kid. And I want to learn from you more, because a lot of people underestimate health and fitness, any kind of sports or any kind of activity. But I truly believe that this affects person's life. Like from my experience starting up, I started horse riding when I was really young. Although I don't ride anymore now, but it really shaped my personality. It really taught me so much about myself that I wasn't aware of. So tell us about your first business that you started.
Shufi, it does. Yeah, you really touched on important points about it shaping your life. And some people, I have many goals or ambitions that I want to do with football, but one of them is the point that you touched on. People's perception that maybe football or any other sport, in fact, is something you play in your free time, or it's just a hobby. It's nothing special. But in reality, when you look at sport and the effect it can have on somebody's life, that's the value that I see in sport that maybe not everybody sees, and that's what I wanted to take advantage of. If I go back to reflect on myself, I grew up, like I said, playing 5, 6, 7 times a week, and that's all I knew. And if I look at the generation of kids and youth now, who have access to a lot more things when it comes to technology, when it comes to money, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to all the negative things in life that we don't need to mention over here, but whether it's smoking, whether it's whatever it is, kids have a lot more options. They have a lot more money, and it's taking them away from a healthy lifestyle. We grew up, we didn't think that football was healthy. We just played, and we were naturally healthy. We were out in the sun. Today you look at parents and they think, oh, I don't want to send my kid outside because it's too hot. Well, 15 years ago, we grew up playing barefoot on the streets, and no one ever complained about us getting burnt in the heat. So it's all about, you know what I'm saying? And parents are becoming very delicate about their kids and worried, whereas I'm a firm believer of let them go, let them play. And that's the natural, let's say, lifestyle. If you look at the European lifestyle compared to the local lifestyle, with our parents getting old, back problems, knee problems, diabetes, all these diseases, why is that? They don't have the lifestyle that the Europeans have. And look how fit, obviously everyone, there's pros and cons, but when it comes to the sports and lifestyle, صراحة متجدمين a lot. They have a lifestyle that they live until the 70s and 80s. People are in the gym, they walk out on the street, they do so much, and we don't have that in society. So I wanted to address that through football.
Yeah, I have a friend, actually, her mom is 80 years old. And, mashallah, she's out and about, and she goes and she even travels. I was like your mom is too old to travel. She said, yeah, she's too old, but she's still enjoying. She jokes about that in front of her mom. She will enjoy every last day of her life. And if that means that she needs to go to XYZ, she would do it. And I think, that really reflects on how the person grows up. And kids these days, as you mentioned, they're very distracted. And this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, and I'm going to do another episode about this, I promise, is because a lot of parenting, they are overprotective. And because they're overprotective, sometimes I feel like parents need parenting. Now, I'm not a specialist in parenting, I don't have kids of my own, but I do believe like parents are so protective. I remember myself growing up, we did all kind of stuff. We had to fall and injure ourselves and make mistakes and things. This is how we learned, and this is how we became the people where we are today, and shape the experiences and the life we have.
It is.
I know that. Tell me a little bit more about the football academy now. Like, how did you
So
started and all of this?
that was one of the main goals. The other goals that I had, as ambitious as it sounds, and you have to be ambitious when you start a business and you think you can conquer the world. That was one of those ideas that I see a lot of things. Not only me, a lot of people are not happy with the progress that's happening when it comes to football in the UAE. And mainly, you look at our clubs, the national team, people having hopes and ambitions that we can go to the World Cup one day. والحمد لله لو تشوفين في الإمارات in all the different fields when it comes to البترول, investments, يعني number one, the ambition from the country وقيادتنا رشيدة, and they want to be the number one in everything in the world. Unfortunately, with all the money and the resources that's gone into sports, يعني you feel like there's a lot more that could have been done, and the UAE deserves a lot more. And where I saw the gap was that I could start to play my role in is grassroots, which is the bottom, is the foundation. If you don't have a foundation, you have nothing to build on. No matter how much money you
It's
put
the
in,
base. It's the most
it's the base.
important base.
In anything, by the way, مش بس في الرياضة. In anything, you start with the foundation, the basics, and then you go up. And we do have, not to say we don't have, and not to say anything, but I don't think enough attention or the structure of the grassroots was done in the best way possible with the resources that we have, considering the resources that we have in the UAE. So I said, okay, I want to do it, and I want to do it in my own way. So I learned a lot. I took a lot from the English system, from the European system. I studied different business models, and I didn't copy paste, oh, what are they doing in Barcelona because the best in the world, I want to do it here. But I need to create something that's Emirati, that's local, that's community. So I took a lot of learnings, and then I said, let me create my own academy. How can I address our kids that we have here? What do they have as weaknesses or things that I can improve? And that's how I created the academy, basically. And alhamdulillah, I can see that the results have shown that at least the direction, I can't say I'm finished with my project or I'm the best, but the direction I'm going in has been good. It's quite different because it tackles more than just the sport side of it, which is becoming elite and good. It's tackling the social side of it. We have I insisted on having over many nationalities. We have over 50 nationalities, different age groups. We have girls. You have rich kids and poor kids. There's not only one, جالي ولا مركز. For this, the social benefit to having all these different groups coming from different classes of society, mixing and being united by sport, for me means so much in terms of personal development, confidence, having a conversation with someone like you. You come from different worlds. Sport brings that in you, and not all the people see the value in what sport can do. So, that's a bit more, I guess.
You mentioned something really interesting, and I really, really appreciate this about you. And I wish a lot of entrepreneurs actually thinks and caters to all kind of backgrounds. This is the problem that we face in entrepreneurship. The fact that you opened up this facility or this business for everyone, regardless of their background, their class or whatever it is, and to bring people together. This is such an important element that a lot of people underestimate. I remember even us growing up, we used to hang out with everyone, like we had friends who are from India, from Philippines, from Pakistan, from Malaysia, like it was a mixed society. And we were also mixing with Emiratis, but it was also a good cultural exchange. So we taught them so much about Emirati culture. They taught us so much about their cultures. And this is why the UAE is so diverse, how we celebrate our diversity. And I think it's a very special message that you're sending through your business, allowing people to be who they are in a very safe, protected environment, no judgment. Everyone is there for their passion. And I think, the more we have businesses like this, the more we bring people together.
Yeah, you learn so much from each other. And you look at the Japanese that I'm so fond of when it comes to discipline, for example, like when it comes to their attitude and behavior. Every society has something to give that they are better in, and we have, maybe the Arabs have technical skills, the Europeans have social skills. People learn languages. I've seen kids
Yeah.
break out of their shell or learn a new language because of sport more than they would learn from private tutoring, for example.
Yeah, even kids who are bullied at schools. I know kids who been bullied at schools, but then when they go into a sports environment, and the same kids who bully them at school, they see how they perform, let's say, at that specific sport, they change their way, they look at them and they start respecting them more and everything. Like, it has so many benefits. And that's why I always say that when we invest as individuals, we should invest in grassroots and development. We should not invest in, you know, things that a lot of people have attention to. One of the things that I always talk about with my partners in different businesses and that is that when, you know, there are a lot of initiatives and opportunities for high performing students, for the best students, for the best youth, for the best of everything. But there's very little offering for people who might not be good at school, but they're good at sports, or might not good at you know, I don't know, math, but they're good in poetry. So I feel like such platforms are really, really important, because the time of us just focusing on people who are high performers academically only has gone. That's not enough. You need social skills. Even in my business, when I hire people, I obviously look at their CV and see where they've studied and all of that. But for me, I don't judge them on their academic performance, because I've met people who academically they are super high, but when they come to business, Umar, they can't they can't socialize with people, and it's important. And I know people will backfire like for this, but it's the truth.
I couldn't agree more with what you said. But even from an academic perspective, what a lot of people, if the only thing I would add to that is, even from academic perspective, we've seen people who, with sports, who were able to show their qualities with sports, were able to perform better academically, okay, because they were able to find something that took out their energy or brought out the happiness and
Yeah,
motivation in them, and they were able to balance. طبعاً not everyone knows how to balance, but the people who are able to balance are able to get the best of both worlds, and
yeah,
not focus and be very narrow-minded and say, I'm only good academically. Academics is important, but the diversity, when you talk about diversity of social skills, of having a sport, of having good academics, of being a good human being, وفي الإسلام والإخلاص لوطنك, all these things, you know, are things that make a person who he is, and you need to develop and be all-rounded, basically.
yeah. The thing is, like, you know, when you ask our kids nowadays, who is your hero? They always name people. Yani, I wish they name people from the region. It's because they don't have role models, right? But if we invest in grassroots and we really empower them, we will have, you know, Arab names that they look up to.
Yeah.
But going back to academic and athletes, I mean, look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest legends of all time. The guy was academically يعني, healthy, I would say. And in his sports, he's one of a kind. So you can find a way to balance. And I know it's hard, but there is a way to balance. So in the academy, is it for a certain age, or like what's the programs like? Like, talk me through it.
So there is no certain age, and the idea for me, everything I do in life for my projects, I don't like to think of anything short term. So for me, it's about long term sustainability. I want a kid to come in at 3 years old, as soon as they can take a ball, three and a half, 4, and stay all the way till 18. So that's what we initially built the academy, from 3 till 18. 18, you
That's
know, they go to university, they have different futures, but that was the phase 2 of the academy, was first of all 3 to 18, and then not only diversity, but for all levels. So we had the best of the best kids, the average kids that want to improve, and a person who's never kicked a ball in his life but wants to come and socialize. So we had to cater to all the 3 different levels in different groups in a certain way. We added girls after a year or 2. We couldn't when we started. And then the second part was, okay, what can I do for them at 18? And at 18, we want to provide solutions for them. Another reason why I started this was I had dreams of becoming a football player. I never knew how. I never had anyone to guide me. I never had anyone to hold my hand. I never had an academy. I never had an opportunity for someone to coach me and teach me. I thought I was a Messi or a Ronaldo playing in the streets. I didn't have that guidance. So I wanted to give that guidance to other kids to say, one, if you're very good, I want to help you. And two, if you're okay, then just enjoy it. Don't think about it as a career if it's not for you. It's not a career for everybody.
Yeah.
I wanted to give this advice for the players who are coming to that teenage age, who are losing interest in school, and they just want to خلاص أبغى أستوي لاعب or I don't know what. And okay, guys, I know you want to, but if it's not for you, you have to have a backup plan. You have to have an education. So I started doing sports scholarships, encouraging them to go to US and say, listen, there's a balanced approach. You can go to the US, you can get on a sports scholarship, you can play at a very good level in the US and still get a good college degree. Or you can go to Europe, but don't leave your studies for something else. So the next phase was, what can we do to provide them after 18? Solutions. Okay, you want to go pro? I have a solution for you. You want to study? I have a solution for you. And then what we did was, 2 years ago also, we decided, how about the parents? We had dads coming and watching their kids, and we said, why leave them out? So we got a group of fathers who stopped playing sports for more than 10 years, knee problems, back problems. ورجعناهم للملاعب. We made for them a team, and we got them playing football once a week and enjoying exactly what their kids are doing. فلبس وأكاديمي وكل شيء, and we had a dad's team. To me, it's a cycle that doesn't end. You start football, if it's a lifestyle, that means there's no age limit to it. Any age you come, any gender you are, there's a place for you. Come, enjoy yourself, and that's the base of everything.
I really love this concept of even engaging with the parents, because, you know, it does matter when a parent or both parents are showing that they're also interested in the stuff, you know, that their kids are doing. It's not just like sending them because that's a time filler, you know, and like, oh, they're busy now. It's really interesting concept. And I think, you know, in other countries, like in the States, this is a very common thing. Like even parents are more in competition than the kids. But I would love to see this, you know, like studying in the States, I used to see this, like sometimes the parents are in more competition than the kids. And I feel like if we can create that positive environment for parents to be engaged in, like even the moms, we have this culture, we have the culture there. We just need to make sure that they have a place to go to and engage. And this is such a nice, you know, community thing to do. And I know yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying you see it a lot again in the European culture. When I go a lot, I love the weekends over there, Saturdays or Sundays. You have the little leagues, you have the football matches, and it doesn't have to be the Premier League. What we see here on the TV is the Barcelonas and the Real Madrids, but even in the smallest communities, their weekends is all about, they wake up in the morning, the son has a tournament, the girl has a swimming competition, the father is going to play basketball with his friends. Their whole day is built around sports and competitions, rather than, if you look at the majority of our families, where do they go on the weekends? It's the shopping malls, or cinemas, or restaurants. It's you know, very, very different. And I think we have it exists here, but I think it would be nice to see a lot more of it on the weekends, people engaging in a lot more competitive sport.
But you know what, Amar, I want to say something that I believe the culture of parents getting engaged in activities of their kids is already there, but it's not, it's been left out or ignored. Because I'll give you an example. I remember growing up, we had some friends from Pakistan who were diplomats, and they were based here, and they played cricket. They loved playing cricket. And obviously, I don't know anything about cricket. And I used to watch my brothers playing with the boys cricket like every day after school. That was the thing. And I'm just watching them. But there was once one team short, and my brother was like, do you want to come? Do you want to come? Like, he wants to win, you know? And I was like, I don't know anything about cricket besides watching you. And the whole team were guys. So they were like, we'll teach you. You will learn quickly. You know, you got to come join us. So I joined that game, and we actually won that game. And my brother was so excited. He was like, you know what, Kauthar? I think we won the game because, you know, because you're a female and they cannot touch you.
Strategy hard.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? at least I got the chance. And then my mom was like, in the beginning, she was like, what's going on? Why did you play with the boys and everything? But then she realized that my brothers were so happy of the win. She's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Your brothers were there. They can protect you. They also think of it this way, like, you can play sports with other people. And I feel like that's another thing that's, I'm not saying that, you know, as kids, we played with each other. We didn't have this, you know, like, don't play with anyone. Yeah, barriers and everything, because you're kids. Like, there's not, like, you're naive, you're kids. And I think the culture is there, but it needs to be activated.
Yeah.
I think there were so many things that came and took over, I think.
Definitely, definitely. It's just more encouragement, more activities, more competitions, and I think the more hopefully government bodies can support and make these things grow. Kids, you look at sports council doing runs in malls and things like that. I think it's there, it exists, but it just needs more efforts from the community and maybe also from the government who can support as well.
Yeah. I know that you've dedicated some of your, like, basically you split your time between your academy, and you've also created a concept with interesting group of people called the Rubbery Platform. I want to know more about Rubbery Platform and the story behind it and all of that. Okay,
so Rubbery came as a quite an interesting and very new initiative when the government, a new government entity was established called Ma'an, to support community initiatives and go into a lot of different programs with the community. And a friend who knew me personally actually had an idea. I wasn't the guy who came up with the idea, but I had the experience. So I had an experience with Hamad al-Shahi that maybe you're familiar with, and quite a random friendship, you can say, that I established over 3-4 years. But it's a nice story, and what we created, I think, inspired Kamila to come up. Kamila is one of the founders, to come up with the idea and said, Umar, what you're doing is quite nice actually. And Ma'an have launched an initiative now to incubate, and she had the idea saying, why can we not take this as an idea and grow it, to basically create a platform to break the stigma and barriers. You just talked about barriers. There's so many barriers that exist in society, and one of them is with disabled children not being involved, not coming out. We don't see them enough, and that was my experience. I had, before Hamad, no interaction with anybody whatsoever throughout my life. I had no experience who he was, how he thought, how to deal with him, what does he want, is he normal, is he not? You have all these questions. And I think the issue comes back to awareness in society, education in schools, which I think is lacking. But then maybe bringing them out in society, so giving them the equal opportunities to come out, play a sport, make a friendship, go to the cinema, go to the restaurant. So there's a lot of different reasons behind that. But the idea was, okay, what can we do, and how can we create a platform to bring these people of determination out, create a friendship, and again, long-term sustainable friendship. Because people think of volunteering sometimes of, we go to an event, all of us have done it before, saying people of determination, let me go to an event, let me support once or twice, and then you forget about them. But these guys have lives, okay, and they have feelings, they have emotions, they want friendship just like we do. They want social attention. How can we create a concept or a platform that introduces people, a volunteer, a long-term volunteer with a person of determination, and using the concept of shared hobbies. So, okay, you like to play tennis, I find another girl who likes to play tennis, because the hobbies, like you said, they break a lot of barriers. So, okay, if it's art, if it's poetry, if it's whatever it is, and basically we match couples together, train them, obviously, because there's a lot of training involved. You don't have experience, so we train both of them, and then hopefully this, you can't guarantee anything, but it starts to create and foster relationships that hopefully can encourage people come out, people are more friendly and stuff like that. So that's the idea behind it, and thankfully it was very well accepted and supported by Ma'an. They had a really good process of submitting applications and stuff, and they loved the idea, and they funded and incubated the actual platform.
To be honest, Amar, I remember seeing a picture on your Instagram. I think on your Instagram, you were in a concert or someone was in a concert, and you basically facilitated that gathering of people going to concert. And I love that idea because I've never thought about it this way. And then I told myself, like, it's shame on me that I never thought of this, because it's, because I have a lot of followers from America. So I just explained something like people with disabilities have the right to be integrated throughout everything. And, the UAE has been, leading this actively, especially in like hosting Special Olympics and other things as well, and regulation, changing policies. But the fact that today I will see, like I see this a lot, like young kids doesn't know how to behave next to their classmate who has Down syndrome. This is something has to change, and it has to change from the house. You don't need someone, honestly, you can go and seek help, the way I look at it, and advise and learning, but you can't teach your kids about these things like differences. End of the day, if we want to achieve integration and inclusivity, this shouldn't be even highlighted as as a separate thing. It has to be normalized.
The norm.
And I think it has to be normalized. And I feel like a lot of people needs to focus on this, normalizing it. It's okay. What's the big deal? Go to a concert, go to Pizza Hut, have a pizza. Don't tell this to my trainer, but do things together. You don't have to be. I don't know why they have this fear. And I remember even like during some special events and all of that, some people were like, oh, they feel pity or things. They don't need your bad.
They don't want that.
No, they don't want your bad vibe. You're bringing bad vibe to their arena. Like people need to learn how to be educated about matters like this. So I think the platform is a great opportunity for people who, no judgment if someone doesn't know how to handle situations. They can figure that out with the help of the team. No judgment if you have fear of some sort, because that can be sorted. And, be a role model. I feel this platform gives society and members of our community an opportunity to be role models of how they can champion integration and inclusivity, and not make this as a big deal. It's not needed.
It's not, and exactly, like I couldn't say it any better than how you said it. That's exactly what we want to do. This is something that's today maybe not normal, but it has to be the norm. When you go to Europe, you see people of determination working in restaurants. You meet them in coffee shops. They're in your sports. They're in schools, integrated schools. For everyone in society, and we're dealing with, let's say, a group of volunteers. But everything I think I do, whether it's sport, whether it's Rubbery, everyone has a part to play. And Rubbery is playing its part to try to foster with a group of people. But everyone has a role to play. The parents and the families of people of determination have to encourage this and bring their kids out and support. Volunteers need to get involved. Corporates need to start hiring and put them in the face, not hire and put them in the background, photocopying papers or giving them, mujamalat.
Yeah. I've seen this and I get frustrated. And I actually once talked about this briefly on a live, like I commented with Sharif Ali team. She was doing a session and I said, listen, I want, even when people host events, when they design events, like corporate events, entertainment events, festivals, whatever it is, the organizer needs to think of catering to everyone. They have to. This is one. Second, jobs, to me, it's an insult to me if you give someone a job in a call center just because they have a Down syndrome. I'm sorry to say this, and I know I'm being honest and I'm being harsh, but it's an insult to me, not to before going to that individual to talk to this person. Even to me, it's an insult. If that's your reason why this person is in a call center, you're so backwards, and you're not catching up as a leader of that entity. You're not catching up with what's happening in our country, and you're not catching up with all the progress that our leadership have put effort in and invested in. You have to really master the game and play the game. And if you can't, then you're in the wrong place. And I think this is an important thing. And I don't know, do you guys do like talks or anything about these topics or?
Not yet. شوفي, it's just يعني أقول لك يعني it's been a hectic year almost going through the incubation process, and I think the focus right now is just to get volunteers and people of determination establish their relationships. After that, there's a lot of steps. Going to the corporates, helping them find jobs. There's a bit of a bigger picture that I think will come after, but initially it's just these kids. What the first thing and maybe most important thing I learned from Hamad was he doesn't want anything special, by the way. And what you mentioned is, I just want what everyone else is getting. Why can you go play football, or why can you go to cinema and I cannot? He's not asking to go to a VIP. He's not asking for a private plane. He's not asking for anything more. اللي انت قاعد تسويه انا ابغى مثلك. And that was the case with Umar going to the cinema. يعني Umar's mom called us and said, Umar would love to go to a concert. Can you guys take him? Why not? He's going to go and he's going to have fun. خذنا, and he had so much fun and everything. And it's like how simple it was. It's 2 hours in a concert, and that's what he wants. That's what he likes. He didn't ask for anything complicated or anything. And I think there's a lot of people there that it's so simple. It's so simple and it's normal. For me to go with Umar to a concert is nothing special.
Yeah. And then, Umar, how do people get, like, how can they become volunteers at Rubbery? By the way, Rubbery, guys, for my American friends, I know I will get questions afterwards, or my English-speaking friends, Rubbery means my friends or my crew kind of thing.
It means friends. It's a very slang, casual.
Slang, yeah, Emirati. But how do people become volunteers?
So basically what we do is that there's a website, rubbery.org, that's set up where we have both the volunteers can register as well as people of determination. And what we do is basically we look at their profiles, we look at their hobbies, we look at their ages and everything, and then interview them and try to match the volunteer depending on the city that they live. Can they travel? There's a lot of different factors, and then we try to bring them together basically after some training. So all they have to do at the beginning is register. After that, we do the process of buddying them up. We do the training for them. We set up the first few outings, and then the goal is after 2-3 times of helping them and guiding them, that خلاص, once they're friends, they know each other's families, there's a trust and a bond over there, that it goes and it becomes the norm that we talked about.
Yeah. So I think, guys, you will see the website. Rubbery Platform just posted their website on the Insta Live. Please, I'll also log their Instagram account and everything post session. Register, be part of it. If you are a community member that have time, and I mean time, means you can sit on your phone for 3 hours, you can spare these 3 hours and do something useful. And please support these initiatives, because community initiatives are, they're serving community and they need community members to support it. So if you don't show support and love and attention, this is going to be hard for people to get benefits. I know, Umar, you mentioned obviously Ma'an, and bravo to Ma'an for working really hard to support social entrepreneurship on different levels. I'm really proud of the work they've done so far. If there's something you want to, like a message you want to send out to promote social entrepreneurship in Abu Dhabi or in the UAE, or advice or tips, things that you wish people could do now to support this entrepreneurship journey, because the social entrepreneurship concept, it's not new, but it's just started in Abu Dhabi.
It is, you're right. It is quite immature, I'd say, and naturally speaking, will take time to grow, and there's a lot of potential to grow. Ma'an have done an amazing job. They like I said, they're tackling different subjects. And the first was people of determination. They then went into programs for the elderly. Now they're doing mental awareness campaigns. So they have a lot of things to tackle. And I think they gave a big push at the beginning for a few of us who were lucky enough to take advantage of that to incubate and grow. But Shufi, there's a lot of different ways to do social entrepreneurship or to have community initiatives. So what we're trying to do obviously requires some support, requires an organization, but there's many different ways either to volunteer, but even to do things as a business. So even my commercial business, even the academy, that okay, it's run like a commercial business, but it's also, I look at it as a social enterprise. Why? Because I look at one of my main pillars is community and giving back. I give back to people with determination. I give back to underprivileged kids who can't afford to pay. I give back to government initiatives when they have a sports awareness event and the government needs me. I have a duty to give back. So there's so many different ways that you. Sorry, I got a call. That you can become socially aware and give back. You look at big brands like Tom's, for example. Okay, commercial brand, global, but you look
Yeah.
at the cause and the purpose, and I think that's what it is for me. Concepts like Rubbery are pure community. They're very special. They're very niche. They're very specific, tackling a certain challenge, and that's one type of social enterprise that I think if people want, they should approach organizations like Ma'an, who will, I'm sure if they have something that's good, will support them. But also you can go out on your own. You don't need anybody's hand to hold you to set up a business in any field, in fashion and technology, to say, fine, I can do this as a good cause. I can build mobile phones, but also create an industry for jobs somewhere or give back
Yeah.
somehow. And I think that's how we need to think. That's the future of businesses, the ones who are socially aware, giving back, and with both the special niche community together with the commercial but socially aware, I think we can achieve and really do a lot of different things.
And then you mentioned Hamid multiple times, and some people know him, some people don't. But for me, I have to say, when I heard Hamid's story, I swear to God, I was on a plane coming back to Abu Dhabi, and I saw the in-flight program, and I saw the documentary mini-series about Special Olympics being hosted in Abu Dhabi, and you and Hamid were in it. I honestly cried. I was so emotionally touched, not because of Hamid's situation, because of the support and the love and care of, you know, his parents, your attention to details, and all the people who came together. And I felt his story, although it was an Etihad in flight, so well done, Etihad. I feel it's a story we should always share, because that's exactly what we need. We need more people like you who can support other people's dreams and create champions. And you are behind the scene. You're a person who always was behind the scene, and you pushed and helped and supported and became that mentor. So tell us a little bit about that story. How did it all evolve?
شوفي يعني it was all يعني very, it was a coincidence first of all meeting him and the evolution of the relationship and the story, which even to me sometimes when I look back and I look at it is a bit overwhelming to a sense, because having an impact on someone's life, and not only, I like to tell everyone this, it's not only my impact on his life, what he did to me, to my coaches in the academy, and we have over 300 kids in the academy. And that's what I'm telling you, bringing Hamad out had an effect on so many people. Yani his positive vibes in the academy. So everything, it had like a domino effect. I had good intentions. I met the kid. He obviously showed some passion for football, which I have. Okay, how can I help you? What can we do? We started to become friends. The relationship grew naturally, and everything sort of just happened يعني بطيب قلبي يعني just very very naturally from me and from him. The parents were supportive. Obviously with everything in life you face some challenges, but it's nothing that's going to push you down or break you down. They're just other challenges in life, and the relationship grew, the impact in society grew, and then thanks to people like the Special Olympics and Ittihad, who highlighted the story, Abu Dhabi World. There were many people who came on at a later stage after the story came out, after 3 or 4 years of it, to highlight and tell people the story. But it all came very naturally. Nothing was planned. I didn't have any idea in my mind. I just said, listen, I have good intentions toward this guy. We're a friend. However I can help him, I will. And however he can help me, taught me patience, taught me how to deal with people of determination, taught me how to be ambitious, taught me how to be happy with how little you have. Hamad had very little friends, very little attention, very little of many things, access, a lot of barriers, and still he could come. He could be the happiest guy there, and I'm thinking, how are you in your little bubble this happy, and us with good jobs, with cars, مع بيوت, نطلع نسافر نسوي كل هذا, and still we think that, oh, life is tough, life is hard, and you look at simple things like that. Hamad taught me happiness. So I think that back and forth really worked يعني very naturally and really very well, and it grew, alhamdulillah. Like I said, Special Olympics played a big role in terms of bringing out. The videographer obviously was so good in terms of filming the story, because the story is not a made-up story. Everything in that documentary, by the way, it was filmed, but that's the true story, and that was why it was a nice story. It was natural. That's exactly how I met Hamid, and that was the story that happened.
You know what, Amar? I feel, I don't know, I might be wrong, but it's just a feeling. The way you talk about Hamid, it's almost like you are looking at yourself. This is the person, this is so, like, it's you. You need, like, I'm just now saying this because I feel it, that because you wanted someone to mentor you, to help you with your passion and things, and you couldn't be a football player, but you started a business in the field, and now this is the role you're playing with Hamid and others. And I feel like you see yourself in Hamid, and it's a beautiful thing. And I believe that a lot of people down, deep inside, can be this individual for so many others in different walks of life. And I think we should promote this, and we should talk. I know you don't like to be, you know, seen about it, but honestly, you're promoting something that's very important, if you do. And by the way, tell Hamid that he has a big fan sitting right here.
You need to come and meet him. He likes his fans to be on the pitch. So when he's training one day, you should come and visit the academy and see him. He will be very happy, I'm sure.
I would come. I promise you, I would come. Just tell me when. And also, I would love to host him on the show to take his perspective on things. And I promise you that from now on, I will highlight more of social entrepreneurship within the Emirates to give a chance for these entities who are doing their best. And I know that you're working on new ideas. Something new is coming up. What's next for Umar?
Always a lot, other than the real estate. Obviously, with football, I'm very ambitious. There's no end to my football. I don't have a goal at all. I want to reach this, I'm going to be satisfied. So I'm working with that, and it's all about the nice thing about my concept is I'm trying to do something to give back and help people while making it commercially viable. So it can last for a very long time, because I can do good for so many people for 1 year, and then okay, khalas, I'm run out. And I want to do that for 10, 20, 30 years قدام, which is why I'm trying to balance that side. But outside of that world, I've have a big passion for giving back and charity work. So I've been going to Africa for the last few years, every single year, to do mainly sports charity. Last year we had something that's a bit different. We did a renovation program for an orphanage, a girls' orphanage. Was amazing. I took a group of friends very randomly. We were about 15 friends from the UK, from Bahrain that I studied with, friends from Emirat, from university, some of my coaches. And we went and we spent a week there renovating a torn down orphanage for girls. And just spending that week, for me, best holiday. I call it a holiday because I enjoyed it. It was an amazing project. So I'm going to continue those trips. I do have something that's still very early, but it's another charity and social enterprise that's probably going to be based in Africa, maybe in agriculture or food and food security. There's a lot of people that are underprivileged, and I want to do my part over there. So they're always working on something.
You know, Umar, when I used to work in the government and Dubai Cares was first launched, I had an opportunity to travel with them to build a school in Cambodia. And I had so much fun in that trip. I didn't know what to expect. It was my first ever trip with very basic stuff. Like, we didn't take lots of stuff with us. We were there for a couple of days, and it was such an experience. But let me tell you, the friendship that came out of this trip, I still have those people in my life, and we continue to do similar activities from like just going and like doing things ourselves or collaborating with entities or, you know, NGOs and things like that. So what I want to say is, whenever you plan these trips, please let me know. I would love to support these trips. And if you have anything for supporting girls and girls' education and women empowerment, you know, you have my support. I'm hoping I'm gonna retire early, not because I'm lazy. I'm not lazy. I work hard. I've earned it. But my plan is, if I retire early, I want to dedicate the rest of my life doing things like that. So
100%. I support you. I support everything that you're doing. I've obviously maybe known you for about 1 year, maybe, and following everything that you're doing. And to be honest, it's people like you as well in society who are highlighting. And I think that's what you're good. I don't like to highlight so many things. I like to dig and do the hard work. That's what type of person I am. But it definitely needs people like you to highlight, to encourage, like women empowerment, what you're talking about, education. You can see that you're big on a lot of things. I'm following a lot of the topics and the people that you talk to, and the passion that drives you to support others to do. You're not selfish. You're a successful businesswoman yourself, and you don't need to help any of these people. You're taking your time every week to meet new people, to talk to people. What are you benefiting of this financially, socially? Nothing much, but again, you have a message to send. You want to send positive vibes. You want to educate and help, and literally nothing's coming back in your pocket. And not a lot of people see that. Not a lot of people understand why would Kauthar take so much, and I don't even want to imagine how much time this takes out of your personal time on top of what you have to do of your businesses, because I know balancing between two jobs is difficult enough. You have businesses, you have staff, you have things to do, you have projects, and then you're taking personal time, you know, and dedicating it. And it's not, that's what I'm saying, the volunteers, a lot of people do one of things. You are dedicating time regularly to supporting people, again, highlighting my story next week on a new subject, women empowerment, entrepreneurship, youth, government initiatives. There's so many things. So really hats off to you and what you're doing. Definitely, I think we have a lot of things to bounce back off each other. So I will let you know of all the programs. I definitely want to grow on the social side. So looking forward to it, really.
no, I'm very excited, and the reason why I'm actually doing this show, and I call it Two People Talking, specifically because I don't want it to be all about me. Because I see so much goodness in our society. I see so many interesting people that maybe don't get the opportunity to be highlighted properly or share their story. You know, like today I had a friend on a cover story on a magazine. I was so happy. Those kind of things that I want to empower, I want to support, because I worked hard to become the person I am today. It's my responsibility now to support others. It's not always, I'm a businesswoman. I care about numbers. I care about profits. I care about revenues. But there's also a percentage of my time that's invested in community. I want to do things for community. I want to be engaged with community. I want to be aware what's happening. What are the challenges, where I can support. Maybe I can't help, but I know someone who can help. So I'm a connector, you know, and I love the fact that social media and, you know, projects and all of these things are giving me the opportunity to connect to people that I would normally maybe not know. And yeah, so I'm excited. And Amar, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
I'm really, really honored to be hosting you today, and I enjoyed this conversation. And I know there were some questions, but please direct them to Amar if it's for Amar, and direct it to me.
Pleasure, anytime.
And I know that someone asked, why didn't we speak in Arabic? I want to just say, like, why didn't you, you know, speak English? Like, it's okay. Like, we're all educated here in the UAE. We speak multiple languages. We're very proud. I personally very proud about Arabic language, and I speak Arabic fluently, and Umar the same.
Very casual, عادي.
هي عادي، بس احنا حسينا ان هذا الموضوع نحتاج نتكلم فيه بالانجليزي، وعادي تغيير شويه، وفي episodes ثانيه سويناها بالعربي. So if you don't speak English and you're an Arab or an Emirati, please go and learn English, because almost everyone in the country speaks English, if not French and German as well. So thank you so much, Amar.
Thank you, Kauthar.
We'll be in touch soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.